And yep, we're live, so you guys are
All
good.
right. Hello, Overwatch Oasis. We are on week 11. The Corgi Core versus Nova. I am Dr. Grill, and this is...
Cryptographer here.
And we're going to be commentating today. And we're going to be starting on Nepal. Into the match we go.
I love Nepal, and I'm very curious to see what we will see out of these teams because there's so much variety based on the map.
No, definitely. Especially, like, I hate Sanctum as a map personally, just because, like, it's very easy to cheese. Oh, and of course it's Sanctum! I gotta curse the teams here. Sanctum is just one of those maps where, like, it's really easy to cheese it. It's very easy just to do boops and double shield, and you kind of just pull through with that. But with the other two, it's a little bit harder to capture first. At least from what I've seen. I've seen, like, teams that can, you know, who capture Sanctum and they lose the next two, and I've seen them be able to take both. Sanctum is just one of those. It's one of those, like, cheesy maps, in my opinion.
I agree. Although, I like it for that reason. I like that Overwatch has a couple maps that are,
fair, yeah.
you know, always have their own meta. Like, if you think back a couple years ago, how dive was the thing.
Sorry, I turned the stream on. Okay.
It's like how Junkertown always has its own thing. Like, whatever's run on Junkertown probably isn't run anywhere else, and that's kind of a good thing. But we are seeing...
You get pirate ship. Ooh.
We're seeing double shield come out of the Corgis with a Reaper and a McCree, and then a traditional Brawl heal comp. And then we're seeing Rein, Zarya, Genji, Pharah with Psy on the Mercy.
This is an interesting idea. Mad Dragon already picked off, though, by Rusha Rose. That is a huge pick for Nova right now.
But
and the Queens are battling out. Oh, but they lose their main tank.
But Corgis look to... Oh, I think Rusha hit all his dash resets finally, and that pretty much finished that fight.
Yeah, Nova's gonna take this first, it seems. This is not the comp I was expecting for Sanctum, but it worked a lot better than I think both of us expected, possibly.
Indeed. I do wonder how much of it was just the fattest reflected fire strike in the world off of Rusha.
Me too. Like, it's hard to see what's going
those.
on in that tiny room, but
we do see Corgis rotating again, all the way around.
Oh, Ravdi does get pushed on a point a little prematurely, but the rest of the team follows suit to help him. Acid Rain getting the pick on Moonlit Omega, but a huge shatter comes out from J-Rod and Ravdi goes down. But Acid Rain topping off right now on this Reaper. Even though two picks come out for Nova, the Corgis are looking strong. But does the res come through? No, it does not. Strife getting that headshot, which secures Corgis the point. It's a good early capture.
Indeed. This is going to be a struggle for Nova to recontest, I feel. Playing Pharah on this point is really gamble heavy because it's very defensible. But getting in here with the Pharah is going to be such a pain. And Strife appears to be really popping on the Kree.
Oh yeah, the DPS on the side of Corgis right now are absolutely popping. Oh, Pharah going from behind, trying to get an early pick. Doesn't seem to get anyone just yet. And the Corgis are going to be closing in. Oh, but a huge rush from AJ coming through. It's two, which leads the way for Nova to hopefully maybe recontest this. Maybe recontest this?
It absolutely looks like
so. They are putting a lot of ultimates, putting the shatter in just on the one Orisa as well. They definitely are pouring everything in to try and recontest this point as soon as possible. And it's neck and neck right now.
They did spend quite a lot in ult economy there. We saw Safety use the Moira ult, the shatter come out almost definitely unnecessarily. And then we saw AJ ult as well.
There's definitely a lot of ults there. They definitely wanted to get that position. The Moonlight does throw out the grab here, which gets Ant Hopkins out of the fight right away. Gravity doing a little bit of a flank Orisa here. Oh, almost gets moved off the point. He's safe though. And but Rusha on this Hanzo gets Strife, and Nova cleaning up very quickly here. Ooh,
Oh,
that's a good pick from Gravity, though.
The reset there, getting out, was very imperative for the Corgis with only about 10 seconds left to reach the point. And that exit frag by Uravity is going to pay big dividends, almost definitely.
The kills are coming out from the Corgis right now, and they are looking big. And oh, Strife with the double! Nova may have just lost this. They had to back out. Oh, and the skill on the safety foam just to confirm that stagger. They're gonna have to wait for their Moira. They can't push in without her.
Corgis are going to struggle as Magdrag gets insta-deleted early.
Dragon's coming out as well, which lets Moonlight Omega just have free reign onto this Rhine. Oh, and absolutely. A lot of ults going in again from Nova, but this is one fight territory for them. They know that they can put everything into this fight right now, and it's completely fine. Now they just have to make sure no one touches point. Oh, and right away we got someone. And a huge shatter from Ann Hopkins comes through, gets safety from out of the fight. We got a ball on point now from Gravity. As the res come through, the res does come through for safety foam. Nova looking strong here as people... I'm casting.
We do have reasonably significant ults on the side of Corgis if they can make this recontest happen. Strife does peek out just a touch too early. And I think that's Nova going to be very clearly cleaning this up.
Look at that! Oh, grab one over there. Ooh, before Jakalosi could touch the lane, Nova capture it.
I would be really interested to go back and see what happened to Magdragon during that pre-fight. I have to assume perhaps a headshot from Rusha? Or
I believe so. Rusha is just doing phenomenal right now on this Hanzo. And causing a lot of issues for Corgis. We're gonna have Strife going on to the Mei. Mei is so good on this one point. I don't blame them at all for going the Mei. These switches are probably, especially Gravity going on Rhine. I think he's definitely way more comfortable on Rhine than he normally is on Orisa. I don't know how true that is.
Orisa is his favorite character, actually. He's the only main tank in the world where that's true. Although I don't know if it's his best main tank. He likes to say it is.
Rhine. Yeah, his
Rhine is so
phenomenal. Oh, Maywall gets a little scoop there, letting some Nova come through. Ooh, but Arabi getting the early pick on J-Rob, but that's no Rhines for either side. Strife getting the kill on the AJ does come through, though the Corgis are definitely looking a lot stronger here. They just need to clean up now. Jakalosi gets two, as the Reddit Lucio goes in and Magdragon say, hey, I'm gonna do some DPS support as well, gets Rusha with the orb.
Say, you love to see the legs on the other team.
I would love to see the legs. But since we're going to get off the legs, we're going to go to Sombra.
This is a really interesting matchup. This is like a very classic village, comp. The Mei Reaper versus the Hack Fist. This is Element Mystic Classic versus, last year's meta.
Oh, liking that reference.
Uravity finding the big pin early on safety foam.
Magdragon, though, does use that Colossus beautifully to keep up Uravity, even in the middle of, 5 people. All does come through. Oh, and Strife gets the kill onto J-Rod. That is not looking good for Nova. And it seems everyone of Nova is just trying to back up now. Ooh, but Jakalosi just getting kill after kill here, a lot of acid rain. Nova just has to full reset.
Jack is looking so good this evening, just already. His Lucio, which is by far his comfort pick, is just really making a big impact on this map so far.
Oh, for sure. Jack's Lucio is just a phenomenal. It's phenomenal play every single time. Oh, we're gonna see an echo from Rusha. We don't really see many echoes in Overwatch Oasis. I know Dark Train. I'm saying those clubs in my team, but Dark Train played a lot of echo when he was on TC, and we haven't really seen a lot of echoes since. So I'm very happy to see some echoes. Huge Colossus coming through. A lot of beats from both sides. Both teams are investing as many ults as they can to keep everyone up. Oh! from the Corgis, but that was so many ults. All they have is Blizzard now.
If
They
Lucio
know
can
this is one-fight
contest,
territory. They know that. Oh, but Rusha does get overtime in, and Blizzard does go out. But it's used, I believe, to keep Ryan from touching point, which is smart.
I really thought I was gonna get on safety foe. I thought he was when he was backing out on the Lucio. I was like, I didn't see Rusha. I'm like, is he gonna pad his stats and not take the death from contesting this? Like, wow! And then Rusha touched, but I'm so confused when he right at Lucio'd his way in and then instantly 180'd when he realized, you know, oh, I don't need to touch.
Yeah, it's like I think what they were thinking, my guess is that like, oh, you touch first, I wait, then I'll touch, and we just keep overtime going, you know?
You know, once I recognized Rusha, it made a lot of sense.
Yeah. We're gonna have Rusha again switching again to Junkrat. It seems Rusha plays everything. We're gonna have a Sim as well, which is definitely good for this one little point on Nepal. Corgi's gonna do one of their huge rotations, but Strife gets picked out early by Rusha. The Corgis are gonna have to play smart here without their Mei.
I'm gonna say, without their Mei, they either need to just push in hard and lose this fast, or holy cow, we see Rusha with the tire already.
Already with a tire. The Mad Dragon gets picked from that. It seems that Nova is gonna get first dibs on this point.
This was really the worst case scenario, I think, for Corgi. They didn't contest the point at all, let them capture it, and then frankly lost that fight very slowly.
They did.
Letting them build up ult charge.
The Corgis, I know, love to do their lawn rotations. They love to go behind you. They love to do like Korean rotations, basically Korean strats, you know, of these long, weird rotations. But sometimes you just want to get to point first. And I think that's definitely what happened here, is that they should have just gone to point first. We got Coalescence from both sides being popped, I believe. No, the Mad Dragon hasn't popped hers yet. Here comes the Coalescence right after Sidonia's. Just smart. Letting there be enough healing so that way when the team gets in there. Oh, an Acid Rain would be huge! And Mad Dragon some huge kills right there. Acid Rain doing phenomenal work on this Reaper this entire map.
That was a fantastic recontest.
Very fantastic recontest.
A little expensive. We did see the Cole, the Beat, and Acid's ult come out, but we do have both tank ults, and you know that has the big potential. Although we do see Rusha coming in.
Knife is close to a blizzard. Oh, here comes Spectre as well, and a lot of ults coming out from Nova for this recontest, along with Hog. Ooh, he gets frozen by Strife right away. Now getting to pick on a Ravity. Ooh, and getting the in-top as well. Blizzard does come out, but is this a smart idea here? This is good to put in that ult when it's a losing fight. Doesn't seem like it, as Nova's just gonna contest anyway.
I'm going to give Strife the benefit of the doubt and give him about 3 seconds to swap before I call that ult a throw. Because that was, like, very late. That was 2v5.
It was. Like, I will not defend. As someone who played a lot of Mei last season, that's not normally what you want to do, but maybe he thought that, I'm guessing he probably was like, oh, I can get maybe a few kills and my team gets that. Which, that's a smart idea to do that. But it was kind of a losing fight. Oh, we got Coletus' pro sides being popped.
There's a real chance that we're going
better ult management here.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna say that outright.
The ult economy out of Corgis has been, this round in particular, very weak. And I especially look at Ant, who is likely to leave this round having not used his ult. Or, okay,
the Ravity is
he
still
is
trying
using
to
it.
use his ult as well. Huge picks coming out from the Corgis. Shatter comes out as well. It's huge. Gets both tanks. But a Ravity goes down to AJ, who was just from behind. Oh, we got Strife onto the Echo now. I'm guessing that's why he used ult. He wanted to switch off to the Echo. And then we have just huge cleanup there from the Corgis without a lot of ults being used. That Echo definitely did a lot with sticky bombs and focusing being smart choice to go, actually.
No, the cleanup out of the Echo worked just as well as you could have hoped. this will be the big challenge for Corgis, is they have, well, they will have beat for this fight, but that's probably all they will have. Potentially even going into the fight after this one. Yeah. So if they can win this neutral fight clean.
Coming out as well, but a huge move from WK11. Oh! Still finds Gravity once again.
Gravity really pushed out around that corner. And once his shield went down, Moonlight's ult on the Hog really just made it so there was no hope. Literally pushing him out and into the team and just deleted.
Yeah. Got another huge tire pop coming through from Marusha, but goes down to Acid Rain. The amp popping does get found, but Acid Rain getting both hits on the DPS before going down. We have Stripe popping the Roadhog, looking for almost close to his ult. Oh, but Moonlight Omega pops it first. Get out of there, Stripe. Gets out of there. Flies him again, looking for a few more kills.
See, the sustained fight looks to be going the way of Nova.
It is. It really does right now. Nova just looks really strong.
And with the cleanup on Uravity there, I think that is probably this map done.
Yeah,
indeed.
WK11 just couldn't touch in time. Nova's gonna take Nepal 1-0. Now, I know the question in everyone's mind right now is what happened there. Like, it looked like the Corgis could have taken that back. They looked so strong on Village, and then you get to Shrine, they kind of grumble. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
My first thought is that that first fight really put them in a bad spot overall. And even worse than that, I think their rotation strategy, which they didn't really have the opportunity to utilize. Hold the phone though. 79% KP coming out of Acid Rain.
Acid Rain.
Lordy, lordy. Back to what happened.
I wish those were my Reaper stats.
No kidding. The rotations that they take bleed so much time off of the clock that they get into situations that would otherwise, I think, be winnable if they weren't, you know, they're effectively losing 2 fights and then losing the map.
Yes.
Because they're taking really long fights all the time. And it's really good when you win those fights. Like, it works this kind of in the same way for them. But when they're not winning these first fights and they're going down 40% on the first, you know, before they ever take the point, and then they, you know, take another fight, lose the point early, and go down another 40%, it's very difficult.
Yeah, definitely. It's like you don't usually, like, especially with Control, if you're like on like what we're going into now, Eichenwald or like 2CP, you can do those slow fights and rotations like that. But when you're on Control, you want to get point first. You want to have control, especially if you know it's going to be Shrine. You know there's probably going to be some cheese. There's probably going to be a sim. People like to play sim on Shrine. It's kind of like the one map you can play her on. You kind of want to just, you know, be like, hey, we got to get to point as quick as possible. We got to deny them setting up, and they just allowed them to set up there. Like Corgis, as we saw, they have the ingredients. They brought that 99 to 99, that they put so much into that. They have the ingredients to take this back right now.
Indeed.
They just have to not get boomed. They have to like clear the heads and be like, we got this. We know they can do this as well, you know. They want to take this back. They 100% can.
Absolutely. I don't think, you know, you could nail down the mistakes that caused Corgis to lose that map were not, they weren't individual, like, you know, there wasn't a weak spot in this team. No. They were like team-wide, I won't even say unforced errors, but I'll say they're tactical choices that, you know, didn't pay off. Big rotations, losing you lots of, you know, point control time. Staying in fights a long time.
That's one I saw a lot as well.
Yes, the layering of the support ults. But at the same time, when they were winning fights, those same things, work in their favor.
Yeah.
And the Corgis have been a fan of staying in fights longer than they should, literally.
They do definitely like to go down kicking and screaming.
And, I mean, the classic example, I go back to, it would have been Season 2. It might have been versus Nova in the playoffs. Actually. And Acid comes in and is recontesting Volskaya first, I think, to prevent the sweep, actually. It's been I'll have to go back and look at this. And somehow finds either a 5 or a 6-man Death Blossom on the point by himself, like coming back off respawn. And it was only after the Corgis were staying in it, far too long that this ever would have been an option.
Oh yeah, like sometimes things work. This thing about Overwatch, you can't really some people try and sit there, they try and analyze, they try and pick it apart, but you really can't. Sometimes things just happen. Sometimes things that really shouldn't work. I think I've said that before in another match where it's that shouldn't have worked, but it did. And we're gonna let that happen. But sometimes it does. You even see an Overwatch League when Defraud on Hollywood. So that's kind of what I'm thinking right now when he a Zarya.
Oh yeah, the
himself
over
the roof and then grab right onto the team. It shouldn't have worked, but it did. Bulky Bob's chewing you out in Twitch chat.
Yeah, Bulky, I can't hear you from retirement over there, bud. Sorry. What was that?
Oh, guys, love seeing the Corgis. Some cheerleader Corgis, if I remember correctly, they're in cheerleaders, coming to support their team. Gotta love the spirit there.
Indeed. Bulky Bob, Sci-Fi Chick, and Zelda Tashik, all Corgi alumni, taking the season off. Not retired, he says. You're not on the roster, baby. I don't know.
Trying to learn PC. Oh, that's so cool. I can't afford PC, sadly. I got my rum covered. Poor PS4 is hanging on by a limb, but he's doing good.
Not retired, just tired.
Just tired? Oh, that's a mood.
Whatever you guys say, I'll be happy to have you back next season. Resident Sleeper, Corgi, Resident Sleeper. Okay. Oh, let's talk swaps. So.
Oh yes.
We're not
Timepiece
really
coming in. I gotta love some Timepiece Diva.
Indeed. We're also seeing. I can't help
gonna
but
be coming in as well.
Yeah, Chicky's coming in. I can't help but call Eldritch Arcana Corvo. He'll always be Corvo to me.
Right, I forgot he changed his name. He was Corvo Stark, and now, right? Am I right?
Yes.
And then it's Eldritch now.
That's because you're bad, Bulky, not because that's objectively true. Wherever you're better at is more fun. I'm going to be very, very honest. We are seeing Firestorm come in for Strife as well.
Oh. A very interesting choice. Of course, that's great to be staying in.
More role swaps coming out of Nova? Did they unswap?
Seems I'm going to have Moonlight on support this time, and we're going to have Sidomia back onto tank.
But can you guys see the Chicky on support?
Oh, yep. Chicky going to be on support.
I don't think I've ever seen her on support.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I was about to say, I'm pretty sure Chicky normally plays tank.
Yeah, and Orisa.
Yeah.
And her Ryan's actually really good too.
No, Chicky's tank is really good.
Continue. It's just something I wanted to point out. I was like, wait a second.
Oh, yeah.
Chicky's on support.
I'm interested to see what Nova has planned. Nova's kind of known. Oh, we're going into Eichenwald. Eichenwald, however it's said.
Traveling to Eichenwald.
You know, Eichenwald's one of my favorite maps personally. I just think it is after they added that little room you can push into and stuff. I think it just made it a little easier to get that point A and made a map just so much fun.
So many people forget pre-rework Eichenwald.
Oh my god, where you were involved.
Well, it had to be the fastest rework in history. Like it.
Oh god, yeah. I think they had the map out, and then it was like a month later, and all of a sudden they patched in this little room on the left, or like right if you're on attack, you know.
Right.
And it like improved it just 100%. God,
it is.
Rework Eichenwald.
It's not my favorite map because it's not King's Row, but
Fair
it might
enough,
be
King's Row is everyone's favorite.
Indeed, good old Skirmish Row. But it might be my second favorite hybrid map, maybe? I'm also a Reinhardt player, so, you know, the history really gets me.
Aww.
You shed a tear every time you leave spawn on third point on defense. It's like...
And it seems that we're going to have on the side of the on the side of Nova, we're gonna see Ryan's D.Va. And again, we're gonna see Lucia back on this Genji, and we're gonna have a pharmacy. While on the side of the Corgis, we're going to see Eldritch's gonna be going on this bat, which may just be a good point here. Eliminate a little bit of that damage. Well, Timepiece on the course, Timepiece's famous D.Va. If Timepiece didn't play D.Va, I would be absolutely shocked and very upset because I want to see some Timepiece D.Va today. Oh, Timepiece right away diving onto that Pharah and negating as much damage as possible in order to help the Corgis push back.
Nova really perhaps over-aggressing here, although when you have that Nano Blade in your back pocket, you know, there's something to be said for a hard feed, like ult charge build, because realistically, the only defense that the Corgis are going to have to this Nano Blade is Corvo's Immortality Field. And, you know, you could make an argue Bob is a zoning ult or whatever. Actually, Junkrat Tire is pretty good for zoning out Nano Blade.
Oh, it can. But the bar, too. That's great. Great job controlling this bar right here. Not allowing them to get... that Nano now, but Gideon is able to pick on the active rain, and here comes the D.Va Bomb from Nova. Doesn't find anyone, but it does force a lot of the Corgis to back off, and here comes that, is it Nano Blade? Yeah, we got Nano Blade coming out now. It's 2. This is the Nova's win condition right now. Fire comes up and gets destroyed right away by AJ. And it's just Gravity and Mad Dragon now. Acid Rain coming back, but I don't think it's worth it. They need to just let the point be now.
Indeed, this one has to they have to let it lie. But that was, I would almost argue that was an expensive fight for Nova, but it lasted so long afterwards that they've actually rebuilt a lot of their ults, because they used Shatter in that. They used D.Va Bomb in that. They used Nano Blade, and they now have both tank ults and are 50% to a Nano Blade.
Timepiece with a good bomb kill onto this Ana. This allows the Corgis to push right back in. We have Timepiece as well pushing in very deep here, trying her best to get this Pharmacy out of the fight. Sidomia does go down to fire, so Massive Rain does get the pick on Chicky. It seems like the Corgis are going to be able to recontest here. Just a little bit. But Nova's ults are just looking stacked right now. And this is going to be scary if you're the Corgis right now. In fact, with how many ults they have, they could just ult bomb you right now and take possibly even that point.
Indeed. Firestorm on the Echo is a very new look, and I'm kind of here for it. That's going to be very large, indeed.
A huge D.Va Bomb from Sidomia! This is what I was talking about. You have to be careful when you know that your opponent has ults. So of course, we do have a lot of ults from the Corgis at this point. They can, as well, use a few ults themselves and take this back very, very easily. I think they know that, because they are going to just be a little slow here, going to take their time, wait for a good moment.
And actually, more than a little... I don't know if that bomb positioning from Acid was intentional, but it was simultaneously big brain and terrible. It was very easy to remove, but it was like it had very nice zone control across the bridge. Unfortunately, Sai was able to close that distance very effectively.
Res does come through onto a Ravi though.
Not done.
Nova is gonna have to take out Ryan once again. Oh! J-Rod taking Ravi with him down to the pit. And though Chicky tries her best to stall, she is taken out.
The payload has reached
The rapidity with which J-Rod is building ults here is insane. That is two fights in a row. He's dropped impactful shatters.
Oh yeah, every shatter has seemed so well placed. Every single one. It's the peak Rhyme play we're seeing here today from J-Rod. Oh, Timepiece sends in the bomb. A good angle. And it does get Rusha.
adaptive circuit
He's gonna have to push on that. Oh, Timepiece as well, stopping AJ's barrage.
Another 3-man shatter coming out of J-Rod.
Shatter. But the res does come through onto a Ravi.
All systems checked out. Personality duplication complete.
With the help too of Firestorm's pretty good Echo ult there, they were able to stabilize. And they're building up ults at a good speed. Now we have Bob, we got Belt coming back through. Nano Ryan now comes through for Nova.
Time is still out of her mesh.
Angle to get in there.
Although she is doing nothing.
Eldritch pops window.
Acid picking off Chicky there.
Oh, but J-Rod getting dangerously low. As Diana in the backline does their best. Up. Acid Rain takes down AJ. No far up the side of Nova. And the Corgis get aggressive now as they push back onto Nova. They will not let them take the third point. Draken comes through. Ooh, catches out Firestorm in it. Oh, but a huge shatter from Ravi comes through. And the double Fire Strike kill comes through for the Corgis. And the Nano Rhine is forced back up. Getting a few shots in to build up some ult.
Mag
J-Rod
Dragon
just
taking
can't
out her
risk
support
feeding right now.
counterpart. That was probably a full put up or shut up moment coming out of the Corgi core. The way that they were zoned there, the tanks were having to. Oh.
Cytopia just seeing all the huge bombs today. Two both yes on the side of Corgis picked out. Time sends out her bomb. Doesn't get anyone though. The Corgis are just passive play, just a bit passive. Time is trying her best. Some people out, but Eldritch picked out. Bob comes out to stall. The DPS getting back quickly for the Corgis. But it's one pick after another for Nova. Bob can't do it all on his own. He's a big old bot, but he can't pull back a whole team. Firestorm can't get Rusha though. So AJ getting huge pick that he swaps onto this axe already. Nano Ryan comes out again. Another Nano. Oh, with 57 seconds left. Nova gets a third point.
Score 0-3. Switching sides.
I don't like it. I don't like it, Grill. I don't understand what is going so very wrong for the Corgi core here.
I'm gonna say right now it's ult usage. Think about it. Every time Nova pushed, they had at least 3 to 4 ults, and it always seemed like they were talking to each other to be like, okay, we're using bomb and we're using self-destruct, and that's what we're using right now. And
You do
the
love to see
Corgis were
that.
just kind of throwing ults out, and that's what, like, when you have a team that's really coordinating their ults, you cannot just throw ults out. You have to do the same. You have to be like, they're gonna do this. If they're gonna do like another shatter bomb, they're gonna nano the Rhine. If they're gonna do blade, we have to prepare, like, save our immortality for that, or maybe we should go Lucio and build a more defensive ult.
Attackers.
It's doing things like that, and the Corgis, though we had Timepiece doing a great job trying to disrupt the Pharah, disrupt anyone who was trying to push out. She was doing a great job, but she can't be the only one. You have to have your team as well, being able to also rally with the diva and be like, okay, this person's pushed out, let's dive onto this person. You know, I'm hoping I'm explaining it well enough.
No, I agree. It's actually somewhat interesting. Traditionally, I've seen Pharah as a big Corgi weakness, but Time and Acid are actually keeping the Pharah relatively
No,
in
it's
check.
a huge improvement for the Corgis.
But they're just getting run over in the ult economy here.
Oh, Firestorm getting the pick on Rusha. Huge for the Corgis right now as Timepiece chases Sidomia in the backline. Forcing Nova to back up as Arabi jumps in as well. Timepiece is not playing around here. and Ravi goes swinging as Acid Rain cleans up from afar. That Ana is left defenseless for Timepiece just to go chase down. Sure, Mad Dragon is down. Point capture so quick. The Corgis are looking strong.
That was
the coordinated push they needed. They pushed in with Timepiece, they pushed in with Ravi. You had both supports just pumping in as much healing as possible. That's what they needed. And this is the Corgis that we need right now to help pull through. If they can get more time, they can definitely take Eichenwald as well. This is not game over.
indeed, and I think if you see, that was a much more traditional Corgi kind of a push.
Definitely.
Including the semi-random, pick out of their DPS line. They always seem to find ways to make it work.
Definitely. Rusha had jumped up looking for a deflection when I saw, and he got punished for it. Oh! Acid Rain getting kicked out from Rusha though, and with Bob thrown in from AJ, the Corgis are gonna have to play a little harder. They're gonna have to either avoid that move, but AJ's bomb does take out Firestorm, but the rest of the Corgis are pushing. Nano Ryan going as well for Ravi, with a huge shatter going through as well. Both sides are duking it out, but it's not looking good for the Corgis, who have lost their Ana, and Ravi goes down to J-Rod. Mad Dragon going low and gets taken out by Sidomia. It's just Timepiece now who needs to run, and she does, and she gets out of there.
She thankfully makes it out.
She does.
Now this is a point where we go back to talking about Corgi's over-rotational strategy. You can, there's a lot of options for how you approach this. And I'll be curious to see. They do look like they're taking the front on approach, which I'm not in love with. I would love to see the castle high ground taken away from AJ.
Oh, Timepiece with a double bomb on both supports coming through. The Corgis haven't pushed in on this. They know they have this. And though Sadomia's bomb goes through, doesn't find anyone. Rusha does get the kill on Firestorm, but this is looking way more in Corgi's favor than it does Nova. Sidomia is forced to push back now.
Indeed, and I think these kills are staggered enough that Nova is going to have a very difficult time actually breaking this. If we see Junkrat pop tire, or they don't even need it.
Yeah. Oh, the bomb gets left of anyway. Oh, he's back up again, forcing supports. Back on the side of Nova.
We also see J-Rod in an uncommon misstep. He committed his shatter to that recontest, or maybe made an emergency swap. I'm not sure, but obviously, reset his ult.
Oh, shatter forever goes down. We have a Nano Ryan coming out and absolutely dominating as he swings his hammer for all his life.
Where was Corvo's sleep dart? Because he slept J-Rod. That's what set that up.
I didn't even notice that. Ravi just absolutely popping right now on this Reinhardt, pushing back Nova. They know they need this time. They are gonna get this time. They are determined right now.
Diva out of mech, fall down.
Tracer now going on a
down.
They are only 4 meters away. If they can just get this Tracer.
And that's pushing
double
in.
skill or kill. J-Rod onto the monkey. I mean, not monkey. Hamster. It's taken down though, so Sidomia still on point. Shatter does come through. Doesn't seem to get anyone. Oh! Eldritch getting Rusha before Blade can even happen with 3 minutes and 33 seconds. What a perfect number to have for your... It's the first time he's finished it off of a bomb. But a perfect time for your capture. For you to have to defend.
We captured 3 points with 3:33 remaining.
Exactly, it's the
Talk about
perfect
some
number.
symbolism. Whew.
The Corgi's looking so much better now. I think they've kind of realized what they needed to fix and they've warmed up. Because that definitely looks more like the Corgis that we know.
Interestingly, I felt like Nova committed some of the same sins we hit Corgi Core with.
Exactly. Like you've mentioned it, he used Shatter when he shouldn't have, J-Rod.
Rusha committed his blade to not the fight, not that last fight on second. Well, not to the fight that shouldn't have happened on second point, where J-Rod used it, but the last one, he pulled his blade down both supports up against the full 6 on Corgis, and it's like, well, thank you for the ult economy, I suppose, if you're Corgis. Because he was, I think he did get Firestorm, but, you know, you turn that recontest into a 5v, 2 and don't have a blade. Congratulations. We'll see which team can maintain the superior ult economy as we go into this next round.
It seems that we're gonna have Eldritch back on back.
Do you see Rusha moving over to the Junkrat, perhaps? Oh my!
Oh!
AJ booping?
Huge pick for Nova! Oh my god, AJ on this Pharah is absolutely destroying the Corgis right now. J-Rod does get taken down though, but so does Acid Rain, and only just a few people from Corgis left. The Corgis are gonna have to get aggressive, but it's not looking good for them whatsoever. Timepiece is back though, but now it's only Timepiece on the point.
I would almost... The irony, I would really like Maggie to not engage here. It's probably just back.
Yeah,
but no, she's going.
Oh no, the engage does come through. Are the Corgis really hoping to stop this?
I think they're hoping...
on the ball as well, slamming down. They really want this point. Arabi with the double ball kill. Going for the spin to win as the rest of the Corgis get back to the fight. They really don't want them to capture this point. Firestorm goes down, Baruchov taken down. Here comes Bomb from Sidonia, gets the timepiece out of net. Acid Rain sends out Bob, but it's a little short of point. And Nova gets it. They really should have just let Nova take that point there. I know that may be the unpopular opinion. They almost had it, but they could have just been able to group up a little faster.
If Acid hadn't used his Bob, I think I would have been okay with it, because of they did end up pulling ults out of Nova and not probably trading off for the ult economy and building their own. But with Acid using Bob, gets a lot iffier.
And they're in overtime, but Nova is still pushing and looking strong here. We have a series on our hands now. It seems that Ravi wants to stick onto this ball as much as possible. Mag Dragon taken out. No support for Corgis as they try to install this. The timepiece goes down as well. It's just a Ravi on ball now with Acid Rain on the Ashe, waiting in the backline for a good opportunity to strike.
This is a pretty strong...
It's just a really spammy comp right now we have from...
Oh, they're gonna C9. Yes, they did.
Okay.
My read from the angle I was watching is that they committed the cart eventually moves out of where you are pushing it on its own, and then they never, caught back up to it.
Yeah.
And
they may have forgotten they were in overtime. You gotta remember, guys, you're in overtime. Can't leave the cart.
I was fully ready to set up this narrative where Corgis had 3 different, bomb ultimates, and they're gonna, force everybody to play slow with the minefield, and then
I was about to talk about it too. Like, oh, there's gonna be some ults coming in, and no, they just walked off point.
Okay.
It happens. Okay.
That error, I probably would not have made a huge difference with the amount of ults that the Corgis were about to bring bear. But if not, this looks much more winnable for the Corgi Corps.
It definitely does. They just have to get the point. They have 3 minutes. Exactly. 3 minutes 33 seconds exactly. They got the time here.
Indeed. If they can take point and then win that first recontest, that's probably all that will be necessary. But it'll be a hard fight. If they can win it as quickly as... If they can win first as quickly as they won it on their first push, winnable.
They just have to get the picks. Oh, we're gonna have Moira Ana on the side of the Corgis. A little bit extra healing along that nano boost. So that means no defensive ult on the side of the Corgis. They're pushing in right away.
My gut says that's a tech choice to, you know, eat the Pharah damage up with the Moira ult, but holy cow, they just get
Nova just decimates
destroyed.
on this first push.
Acid, get out of there, bud! No! Okay, 45 seconds burnt off the clock by Nova. They have basically built themselves a barrage and will likely have Tire and Nano Boost in this fight. Corgis probably have a Coal, but that's probably all.
Maybe they'll get Nano in time. I'm not sure. Get into position. Instead of going left, the Corgi's gonna go right this time. They are can't seem to out-nano anyone. Nano Barrage does come through, does get Firestorm. That is no DPS on the side of... Oh, the Corgi is being decimated once again. Doesn't seem like they can break this defense.
They seem to be trying to push 5 around one way of tower and then let Acid rotate the other way, and presumably to put pressure onto the Pharah as the Pharah is trying to get, you know, chunk damage on the main 5. But they're losing before he finishes that rotation on both of those fights. He's coming around the corner ready to shoot and his team is dead.
Oh, but J-Rod does get the early pick on Eldritch, though time does get Lucio. Here comes Bob. And Shatter, the ults don't seem to get anyone. Nova turns it right around. Even though the pick on AJ does come through, the Nano Rhyme stops any attempts.
That felt like a desperation push, one you make with 15 seconds left, not a minute and 30 left. I'm very
confused.
Yeah, I'm not. This is starting to look like perhaps a bit of a mental booming on the Corgi side.
That's what I don't. I just wonder. Oh, I just saw this come through, but once again, another. Ooh, 2 huge ults coming through to the side of Nova. And soon they're gonna have Bomb and Shatter on the next fight.
Time is... I feel like Time kind of left her team out to dry there. She pushed forward to make that aggressive ult, but when the Pharah has Barrage, you really need your D.Va to A, be with the team, and B, in mech.
You do, yeah. Especially for Barrage, you gotta eat up the damage.
Firestorm pulls the trigger on her bomb far too early.
Oh, that's 2 hits right at the Corgis, so we do have Bomb coming through. It does find Firestorm. The Corgis are just 2 versus like 5 now. Timepiece does get AJ, but the res on Rucha. This back for Nova. With that, Nova gets Eichenwald.
Indeed. Nova looking very, you know, bouncing back super hard after that marathon quick attack by Corgis.
I told you, my dude. Nova is the dark horses this season. They're not really people that we're talking about, but holy cow, they're showing so much strength just here alone of every match they've played so far.
Indeed, this Nova team looks potent.
Oh, for sure. More than potent, they're just dominating. They seem to have like a rhythm going on. They are building up and they're just absolutely storming through with. The Corgis, though, looked well in many points as well. You know, many points throughout the match.
Yeah,
so
Corgis...
there is a chance they can reverse sweep this.
I would argue that Corgis look better on that, with the exception of their overtime push.
Oh, yes.
Like, better than map 1. I don't think they looked better than Nova in general. But they looked much better on map 2 than map 1 up until they... That overtime push was tragic, especially
Very.
that minute and 30 push, where they timepiece boosted over the wall, kind of went on a little bit of a flank action. They spent ults probably before they needed to. It's a
It
difficult
was
spot to put
definitely.
yourself in.
It is, especially with such a high damage comp like Nova was running. You have to be a little bit more together, a little bit more
That
focused. It didn't seem like they had a lot of focus like they did on their attack. Like on their attack, they had some focus there, and then like on their overtime attack, it just didn't seem like they knew what to do. It seemed like they were just kind of doing what they hoped would work,
Chicky
which is
did in
sad.
fact play support, Seth.
Yeah.
Actually, that's something that I really want to highlight. We've talked a lot about Corgi's errors, but Nova are really playing out of their minds.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Rusha is like that whole map, and the map prior just has outvalued, the mirror match with the Hanzo being so strong, and then, the Genji pick was a little sus, in a couple of the spots on Eichenwald, but once he swapped over to that Junkrat, he was just outvaluing Firestorm
Oh my
in a
goodness, yep.
huge way.
And AJ as well was doing just a great job on that Pharah with the pharmacy going on. Like, they were just untouchable for so many
Indeed.
parts.
AJ's
And
Pharah was
and at first, like, I
deadly.
was a little, like, sus about this DPS lineup, because usually Moonlight Omega would be playing DPS as well, but Moonlight Omega has hit Diamond this season, which congrats to you, Moonlight. That's a huge accomplishment to hit Diamond. So, like, normally Moonlight will be playing DPS as well, and then I was like, okay, I've never seen Moonlight on support or tank, but Moonlight's been really holding their own on both of those roles.
I would agree. And, neither of us have really ever seen Chicky play support before. And
Yeah.
absolutely solid, It's hard to do a lot to get, really stand out and noticed playing Mercy. But I would argue if you don't get noticed playing Mercy, you're probably doing something right, because it means you're not dying.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I think I rarely saw Chicky in the death feed.
And reses were large. Actually, this goes both support lines. That round I felt like played very solidly.
Oh,
There was
definitely
no
can agree.
hashtag support diff at all. I felt like Moonlight had really strong Ana play, good ult combos with Nano all over the place. Nano
Sleeping
Blade
a lot
obviously
of
looks
lots of great sleeps as well. Lots of great antis. I saw a lot of antis on a Rabbit there, which definitely probably was not a fun time for a Ryan player.
absolutely not. And
Like Moonlight's Ana just sent me away there. It was just really good.
I really want to go back, and I will after this match. I have to see how Eldritch Arcana slept J-Rod just in the middle of Eichenwald
Oh
third.
god, yeah.
Like, that almost looked like he came around the corner and J-Rod was, fixing his mic or something, and he landed the sleep. Either that or it was, some Eldritch, magic coming out from him. He called up Cthulhu, hey bud, I need you to sleep this guy. I don't know, that's what we need to win this map.
You can have my firstborn, just let me do this.
Exactly.
Like, I've had
Note
moments
two.
like that, I can feel as an Ana player.
Are we seeing any swaps come out?
I don't see any yet. No, Mad Dragon's already in. What am I talking about?
They were
Don't see any yet.
juggling back and forth. I think Jack was in momentarily, and then Jack was back out.
Let's see. Okay, Chicky's gonna be playing tank again, it seems. Gotta love seeing Chicky on tank. We got Safety coming back on support for Nova as well. And it seems that Corgis are just gonna stay the same. No harm, no foul there. The team that they have built was definitely a good one. So no harm trying to stay on it.
Indeed. Much the same story after the first map. I didn't feel like there was any consistent mechanical outplays. Maybe Rusha versus Firestorm on the Junkrat, but Junkrat is so opportunistic. Sometimes teams set you up for instant success, and sometimes you're a really good Junkrat. It can go both ways. So I don't want to necessarily call that one. I go back to when he ran Junkrat on the last map on Nepal, Shrine, and he built a tire before the point unlocked. Okay, well, works for me. That's more than being a good Junkrat player. That's errors on the side of the other team.
Yeah, it's like if your team doesn't understand how to deal with spam, a Junkrat really does just ruin everything. And the fact that Nova was just running that double spam, it's just a lot of spam. Junkrat, Pharah. It can be definitely tricky to get through that. Just counts on being able to pick out the spam characters first, pick out some supports, and then push through. Score is 2-0 for anyone who is just joining, in Nova's favor.
Traveling to Hanamura.
And Hanamura. Okay, I don't like 2CP. I think I've made that clear every time I commentate. I hate 2CP. It just rubs me the wrong way. Hanamura too, especially just one of those weird 2CP maps where second point. Yeah. Second point's just, it's second point. The response just comes so quickly. And then first point is so hard to push through the choke. Sim strats. Ugh, sim strats.
I don't mind when teams commit to the sim strat, but when they drop the overtime round, basically what Corgis are going to lead with, when they've been playing dive, Genji Tracer dive, and then they're like, but for this second round, we're gonna hit you with the cheese.
30 seconds.
Exactly. God, 2CP is just the whole pinnacle of cheese. And Junkertown. Junkertown as well.
It's been so long since we've seen it. You would think with Double Shield being so strong right now, and it often not being mirrored at this level, where's our Bastion comp set on Junkertown? I haven't seen a good pirate ship in what feels like a year.
Yo ho, do do do. I don't know that song, but you are a pirate. Alright, we are gonna see a sim coming out from the Corgis, along with a Brig from Eldritch. I love seeing Brig. Brig's just a lot of fun. Oh, and Moonlight Omega and Sidomia is shutting it down right away. Eldritch is gonna pick on Rusha though. Keeping up. Oh, Eldritch getting the pick on Shiki as well, keeping this fight alive for the Corgis. Corgis are not giving up. They refuse to give up here. Oh, and the good pick on the safety foam comes out as well. And though it's only 3 people in Corgi, it's 2v3 now. And the huge freeze is going out, and the rest of the Corgis are coming back here. They are ready to take this point. They are not giving it up whatsoever.
I still, don't understand what exactly happened here?
I think it's just some strat, and honestly some great stuns and some great whip shots going on from Eldritch there.
Yeah,
Eldritch is definitely a smart choice to deal with the spam. Uh-oh, but here comes a bomb from Sidomia. Does get Acid Rain out of the fire. Good, Coalescence comes through to save Urabi, and Timepieces says, hey, I'm gonna give you my bomb. So it's a double kill. No big deal, it's a double kill. Oh, the 4K tire says, you know what, let me return the favor, Timepiece. Sorry, not sorry.
Uravity egoed his team there. He went to Fire Strike it, and as soon as Rusha saw him lower the shield, just pulled the trigger.
Oh yeah. Sometimes it's those quick, I'm right next to you tires that can really knock you down. They tried to steamroll there. They were so close to steamrolling. Like I said, the spawns on point 2 are just very... Whew, they're quick, you know? You knock someone else in the back and, you know, they're back in 2 seconds. And that
Honestly, hugely fortuitous from Marussia as well. Because Corgis have reset their ult economy now. They used everything to snowball that, and then got shut down.
Yeah, and Nova has really good ult still. Timepiece jumps on the point, but it's only her. Ravi jumping in as well. Oh, but Ravi getting kicked off along with acid rain. Colossus comes through side of Nova in order to get up, get the damage going through as well as the healing. And Rusha getting the double kill along with Safety Foam with the double Coalescence kill. Rusha has just been absolutely dominating onto this Junkrat today.
Absolutely. Also, like, Corgis lost that fight so decisively. They picked up 10-20% ult charge max across the board. They're really going, like, if they keep taking fights like that, they're gonna have a hard time building up these ults in a time-efficient manner.
Oh, here comes the Bob right in the middle of all of the Corgis. But he will be able to be ignored as soon as they make it up. But a huge anti from Moonlit and Mega. Oh, and again, the Corgi Dire! Along with the anti that was on Acid Rain and Aravi, that was a great combination there for Nova. Moonlit Omega, you are just proving me absolutely wrong here with your support play. You are not a gold, my friend, in my opinion. That is some good Ana.
Whew, that... I am liking Eldritch swapping off of the Brig. I feel like on this second point, there's not the opportunity to brawl that hard, except that basically that push they just did, except Junkrat eats you alive as you try and do that.
Oh, here comes the timepiece bomb. But he didn't anyone. Well, comes out as well for the Corgis. But Chippy has already gotten 2. And Moon Omega picking off Ravi. Nano does come through, but maybe not really needed here. Now it seems that the ult economies have kind of swapped here. We got some good ults coming out now for the Corgis. Timepiece already back with another bomb. As well as... Or was that...
I think that must have been Size Bomb.
That must have been Size Bomb. I apologize.
No, I thought it was Timepiece as well.
Okay, so we have only Shatter, soon to be Coalescence and Bob, coming from the side of... But here comes a... Oh no, Sidonia eats Firestorm Rebel Blizzard, actually. That is huge. Nova needed that right there to stop that Blizzard. If he does go down, the fight is still very much alive for Nova.
That was a very telegraphed ult. Coming out of Firestorm. That was probably cast, you know, before the bridge even, I think, as they're coming in here, and Sai had just all the time in the world.
Oh yeah,
we do see Firestorm swap, so not, you know, the most painful loss.
Well, no, we have Eldritch going to be going on to the Zen, with the dive coming out. It's a little bit strange, as normally if you're going to be running dive, you'd want to have, like, not normally this from what I know. I could be wrong.
You know, I think this is probably...
Oh, but it's working!
If you're not gonna run Brig BAP, this is probably the premier support line. Because you can't run Lucio anymore. There's not enough healing in a Lucio Zen comp.
60 seconds.
Lucio Ana's just gonna get counter-dove. Hard to say.
Tick's already for the Corgis. They are looking strong to take this right now with the back ult coming through. Oh, Mad Dragon getting a kill on the AJ. So a huge anti does come through from Moonlight Mega. So it doesn't seem to be enough. Nova is just jumping on now.
That grenade out of Moonlight was incredible, and it didn't, you know, seal the fight like it could have, but it really just slid right in as your Gravity's shield came up. The animations literally like crossed for me. But it seems like Nova are going to take this back, unless this bomb is just enormous.
only get safety foam. But we have people with Corgis coming back onto the point to stop. Acid Rain up top as well with ult, looking for the right time to use it. And here he seems to go into the back line.
And he chooses to use it.
Oh, the double tire from Firestorm comes through. Oh, but Wolfbomb does get timepiece. It's just Gravity and Mad Dragon on point now, along with Firestorm. The anti on Firestorm is not good. And the Mega gets the kill on the Firestorm. And it's just Gravity, Mad Dragon keeping this point alive. Safety Foam goes down. Careful, Beetle. Can't jump off the point too much. Eldritch goes down. Gravity goes down. Just Mad Dragon now. Oh, and Rusha getting the kill on the Mad Dragon. Acid Rain just is almost 2-point capture. But
that was an incredible recontest by Nova, frankly.
Oh, very, yeah. They made the right swaps.
The swaps were good. They kept, you know, it can be easy to overswap to recontest. But, you know, keeping Moonlight on the Ana kept them the nano boost.
Got them some great antes.
Got huge antes and really let them... There's a difference between recontesting for time and recontesting to win. And it was obvious that Nova were either going to, you know, win it or lose. There was no in between. And that's a risky play, but it worked out quite well. An uncharacteristic misstep from Acid on his ult. I'm not sure if he, you know, misjudged where he was dropping or what. He dropped on the point as the Diva bombed and then teleported back up
towards the supports, and then he
towards the supports,
left the
and then
supports to ult. That's what I saw.
Yeah, I don't know if he got perhaps booped by something or it was very unusual.
It's unusual,
We are
but I didn't comment it just because I don't think it was, you know, but just because he the fight, he may not have realized when he was popping it. We could just use it to space out the supports to keep them off the point as well. Oh,
that's true.
Have AJ back onto this Farah.
We're also seeing time on Zarya. This is big news.
Oh, goes down right away to time. I don't think I've seen timepiece on Zarya very often, honestly.
I've coached Timepiece and I've never seen her play anything but Diva.
I think like what she's told me before was like, I play one of two themes, you put me on those two themes and you really want, you know, one of those two. So I'm a little like shocked here, but she's doing pretty well already. Already high charge as well, like wow. The Zarya actually doing a great job contesting this Farah.
Corgi's operating as a pretty clean, cohesive unit here.
Yeah, they seem to have found that missing piece that they needed.
We see Chicky swap off Ryan and onto the old Orisa. Horse Mom is here.
We're gonna get a little bit of, well, not selfless shield, but a little bit of a variation from them, not really. Oh, Lucia on the Echo gets picked off right away. Colossus does get popped for both sides. Here comes Barrage, doesn't get anyone. Already looking in the favor of the Corgis here. Oh, Moonlight and Mega getting picked off on this mercy. It's only Moira and Orisa now. These daggers could be huge for Corgis. They can just get them quick enough, and there goes Chicky, already down. Ooh, and Safety Foam goes down as well. Those daggers are huge to getting them off as much time as possible.
Indeed, I would have liked to see the old off the back balcony there, probably from both of them, frankly.
Yeah, they probably should have jumped off at that point, reset.
Reset, tactical reset. We do see Nova in here pretty early, but their tanks have caught up. They are in position here somewhat.
Ivy still high charge though, holy moly.
Against the that's gonna be large.
Oh, but the bubble from Ivy does save Mad Dragon at least until Firestorm goes down. Oh, the grab gets eaten by Firestorm.
The enormous
huge eat though from side. That definitely keeps the push for Nova alive by having grab out of it. But Lucia gets slapped out of duplicate, and the res does come out for timepiece. Nova is just getting pushed back, and they only have a minute left at this point.
That leaves them in a pretty good spot. You know, Junkrat Tire, Mercy ult, and Reaper ult is really nice to contest this point. We're gonna see Supercharger come out. There will be a Barrage, there will be a Cole, and there will be a Nano. Oh, this Tire is gonna be sneaky. Yep.
Oh, a double Tire kill from Firestorm. Absolutely. Saving this. That's definitely not looking good for Nova.
AJ is on a really off angle here, putting a lot of pressure into the backline of the Corgi core.
But is it gonna get anything? Doesn't seem like it. Oh, Sonomia does get a Ravdi though. And AJ seems to have survived. Mad Dragon copying Belt. Belt is finally ending, I mean. And Eldritch copying Coalescence comes through as well. The Corgis are just popping ults left and right. Going to pick from, oh! Got grab coming out behind you for the double Coalescence kill. It's really cementing Nova here to take this point. But the Corgis are jumping on a point, doing whatever they can to stall this out. It's on overtime. They're already looking great. Oh, the huge shatter comes through along with Sidonia. And Acid Rain can get Lucia, but can they confirm more kills? They have no support there. It's just Uravdi. Uravdi needs to get out of there if he can.
I think he's planning on recontesting this.
I mean, it is only like 2 ticks. They can if they really want to. Oh, yes they do. The Corgis are not giving up here. They know they have to take this point. Oh, but they're dropping like flies one by one.
I feel like they made
decide to back off.
a big mistake there. Uravity got halted and slowed the rotation, and Magdragon felt like she had to push on to the point early. And I liked what they were doing, hard backing, regathering, you know, at least a tank and a healer, and then Baggy went in by herself. And that
I saw that.
If you feel like you have to recontest, you mean you feel like you have to recontest, but it's painful all the same.
Fever Bomb comes through, just falls a little short though of the intended target. Because People Pit comes out, zooms right into a Raven, and a Shatter already being popped. AJ on the Tracer now gets Eldritch Arcana out of the fight early, which is not looking good for Corgis as Nova storms in right away.
Indeed, and we're seeing, you know, you have Moonlight on the high ground, just, you know, providing all the healing you could ever want in the world, and then Safety Foam down on the ground.
Shut down by Roshan right away. Res does come through though for Acid Rain, but Mad Dragon goes down. He's back on team with a team right away. He's out of the fight.
There is some recontest.
Recontest here.
I think they might. Oh, well, perhaps I spoke too soon. I think Corgis are going to find the stabilization here. And indeed they do. Although time slipped out front.
They could hold this.
The ult economy of Corgis is kind of in shambles. We're going to see double support outs coming out of Nova. Basically, Nova will have everything except for perhaps Bob. If not this fight, then before the map is over. And Corgis will probably have Cole and...
Oh, Mad Dragon getting kicked from that bomb as well as Firestorm from AJ's Let's kinda is able to get Moonlight Mega, but Coalescence comes out for the extra healing. And you know, after H6, Eldritch goes down. No supports. Oh, and Nova takes it for the 3-0 and to win the series. So of course we do still play for maps, so we have a map 4 coming up as well.
Indeed. That was
play of the game.
Another very winnable map for Corgis that I feel like was lost on some questionable ult usage. And the ult economy of Nova and just can't be overstated with how good it is. Although when your Junkrat is putting up 4K tires, you know, 2-3 fights a map, everything falls into place.
Oof, yeah, it was just, again with the ult economy, like they looked so good defending point one, it just, a few well-timed ults just kind of blew it up a little, I guess. It happens though. Like I said, Nova are definitely the dark horses here. They're not someone you should be brushing aside and be like, oh, they're just an easy win. But as we see here, they're looking absolutely phenomenal. Even if, like I said, Moonlight Omega is just playing an off role here. Holy cow, that Ana.
Moonlight Omega looks so good.
Oh my goodness. I think that's like who I want right now for support MVP already. It's just Moonlight on that Ana.
I was literally going to say, you know, talking Dark Horse candidates, right now, if I were to pick based on the three we've seen, clearly Moonlight Omega.
Oh, for sure. So many fights, as like people in Twitch chat are talking about, so many fights were won just from Moonlight Omega's Ana alone. Just huge antis, huge sleeps, great positioning too. Like, I don't think Moonlight was ever out of position as Ana.
Absolutely not. That DPS aim serving them well on the Ana, no doubt.
Oh yeah, definitely. Though of course we could have a 3-1 here if the Corgis are able to take Dorado. Or we could have a 4-0. We will have to see when we get into Dorado. I don't think there's any swaps so far from what I see.
We do seem to have a Nova birthday today. They're not here in the lobby. But I guess big shout out to Toking Panda. It's their birthday today.
Happy birthday, Panda! If you're watching back on this, I don't know if you will or not. Happy birthday!
Happy birth. Phil's birthday, man.
Let me just make sure.
Oh boy. We are seeing Teblin come in from DPS and Ant come in tank for the Corgi core.
Oh, interesting. I don't think we only saw Ant play on first map, right?
Correct. This is a little bit... Traditionally, we see Time play first map and then Ant play out the rest of the series. So I'll be interested to see what we have in store.
Mm-hmm. Teblin going to be coming in finally. It's the only, I don't think we've seen Teblin play at all.
Not this series. A lot of map 4s. Currently been playing the Pharah for the Corgi core and looking pretty solid.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen Teblin play a lot, but maybe it's just my memory failing me as normal.
She didn't play a ton early in the season.
Oh,
and the last, I'm going to say, 3 or 4, she usually plays at least about a map.
Okay.
I've been trying to convince Corgis to play more Pharah for literally years. And they're finally doing it.
It goes against their play style a little bit. They kind of just like to, you know, I'm trying to explain it. It's in my head.
They like playing 6-man face roll brawl. Let's be honest.
Yes, there we go. They don't really like to have the Pharah off in the distance doing their own thing, as well as a Mercy.
Indeed.
Alright.
Oh boy, we have math coming out of Psy.
Oh, some math. M-A-F-F, some good old math.
Ain't that the truth? if Sai's doing math, that probably suggests he's checking to play some kind of an unplanned, lineup.
Maybe.
Or maybe he's just not that prepared.
All 3 maps, so if they wanted to, they could run whatever they felt like on Dorado if they didn't really care about map differential. Oh, okay. It seems that Nova is going to be doing the same lineup here. Which I don't blame them whatsoever. This is a very strong lineup in their favor.
Indeed. I'm going to hazard a guess and say he had something spicy cooking and realized the SR map doesn't work, so he's like, we'll just run it back.
I mean, I don't blame him. Like I said, this was such a strong lineup. Like, Nova just looks so good with this lineup and just this whole match.
Indeed. It's been amazing the variety we've seen out of their tank line and their support line. Putting Sai in to play Mercy, putting Chicky in to play Mercy. We saw Moonlight, play tank for a bit. Rotating all around. But maintaining that core DPS line of Rusha and AJ.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think those two just work really well together, what I can tell. They seem to build off each other very nicely. They do a lot of damage together. It seems to work out in their favor all the time.
Good target focus.
Oh yeah.
As well.
Very
120
good
damage rockets and 125 damage Junkrat. You put them together and you get dead squishy people.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You get all that damage in there. It's like, just hit someone and you're gonna definitely get a kill. But also, they're just those huge, absolutely huge tires from Rusha on Hanamura. Stopped so many pushes. And twice.
Absolutely.
It wasn't just one time, it was twice. Very well placed tires.
And both in some ways. Oh, Sai's saying, give us a second. It's so hard to do, but if you can lose a fight and encourage an enemy to use ults, and then come back and win that fight economically, that's actually far better than just cleanly destroying a fight.
Oh yeah, for sure. And just like I said, Nova's ult economy has looked so strong. I don't know who is doing their callouts, but whoever it is, it's... Give him a raise.
Well rehearsed.
Give him a raise. But it's honestly very phenomenal. It's definitely what Nova needs. They needed someone to be like, we're using this ult, we're using this ult. I don't even know if it's just one person. It could just be the whole team together. But ult management definitely is their strongest point right now for this team.
Absolutely. And you mentioned this. I think back on Eichenwald, they have a very strong. They are setting their win conditions for fights, as they're regrouping. They're going in with a plan. We're going to use this ult to win the fight. We'll counter with this ult if they ult. If they use support ult, we'll delay it. If they overextend their ults, it's really nice to see, especially at this level.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's not something you normally see, but the amount of skill being put in is absolutely phenomenal. Oh, we're going right into Dorado. The score is 3-0 for Nova if anyone is coming in late.
Oh boy, howdy. Oh, I suspect we will see Farah at least on first and second point here. Probably out of both teams, based on Teblin being brought in, and then AJ...
And AJ still being in.
Yes, and the fantastic fire play we've seen out of him.
Ready for battle.
Oh!
Yep. Oh, AJ going on the Widow.
Widow.
We have not seen AJ play Widow.
I'll be interested to see what tank Chicky plays here. I usually...
we're going to dive? We going on a dive, boys! Extra, extra, read all about it. We got an on a dive on our hands. I'm actually really excited to see
this. If the execution is there, very excited. That is the one thing about...
Corgis, we're going to see double shield, which honestly, this extra defensive double shield may just help knock out this dive before it even starts.
I suspect we will see them swap. They really run this comp to let Ant swing free, and against this dive comp, he's not going to have anybody to swing.
Oh, they're diving in, but right away Ant is able to get Lucia.
An excellent coach gun out of Acid, preventing Sai from taking high ground. Although they do seed it themselves. This point right here is probably Corgi's best chance for like real time spin. Dive is going to have to play super, aggro and find picks, and Tevlin can pour damage into the choke. AJ was playing awfully greedy, probably not respecting Corgis, standing in open in that window with both Acid and Tevlin, both poking, and they do swap there on the Ashe. We also see the tank line swap, switching over to their own more brawly front line with a Lion and a D.Va. The dive dream is dead. Unlucky. Although, again, I feel like in this last word,
Acid able to get Chicky out of the fight. He was baffled up. Should be a winning fight for Corgis, but instead we're seeing Nova starting to just overpower them. Tevlin trying to get away, but gets picked up by Sidonia.
Realizes it's a little fruitless. And rotates back to cart.
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
Seems that Corgis are going to set up right here in mid.
This is going to get very difficult for Corgis.
For sure.
On this
Trying
point.
to hold this far up is almost a death sentence on Dorado. It's very hard, very difficult, and very rarely done.
Their high point control is basically going to be Tevlin. And when you have a Genji and a Lucio and a D.Va and mirrored Ashes, it's going to be hard to prevent them from standing up there and shooting at your head.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think Tevlin's already doing a job holding up high ground. Oh! And it's a huge shatter. The good pull from Arabi as well. Chicky already picked up Nova, choosing to just back away and save themselves from trouble, it seems. Maybe poke a little bit. But AJ does get picked out by Arabi as he leaves. The Corgis say, no, we're holding right here. No one is stopping us.
The closer that Corgis hold here, probably the better. It limits Nova's access to that high ground, but we are seeing Nova with just full 6 ultimates.
Doesn't get anyone, but while Ant was turned, Shatter does go through, but Bob finishing off the kill on Chicky. A powered up Bob of Bongo. Acid Rain cleaning up onto Rusha.
That was...
Arabi, stop teabagging your teammate, dude. That's just disrespectful. Coming in here with your cowgirl boots. Disgusting. I have to make a Vine reference at least once. Oh god, Blaze coming through, but Immortality comes out in order to keep everyone alive, but Mad Dragon does get down, and Arabi and Ant just get overwhelmed by Chicky. Sometimes Immortality is just not enough.
That was probably never winnable for Corgis. The Nano Blade plus the sound barrier as the Genji goes in means the Genji is not dying. And if the Genji ain't dying, you're dying.
Alright, but Corgis are going to try to recontest it. This is one of the easiest points to hold at. Oh, but Bob in their backline is not spelling any good news. Immortality does come out a little early. Shatter does come out as well, but doesn't find anyone. Both sides are still fighting, but Tevlin gets picked off by AJ up in the top ground. No one is contesting AJ up there, and Acid Rain gets picked off as well. And Levant going down. This may just be a losing fight right now for the Corgis, but they are not backing up. They don't have anywhere to back up to.
AJ on the high ground. AJ on the high ground here is really the fear that I had with, you know, the streets phase of holding Dorado with the double shield style.
Oh yeah.
Although we see early pickups out of the Corgi core
that are just done. They've snapped. They snapped. They're done. They are here for some blood. And Tevlin now back in the fight for the Corgis. The Corgis' ultimate has been looking a lot better here as well, with 4 ults on the table. Matching Nova, it's almost 4 ults.
Indeed.
Tevlin picking up Rusha right away. Though Tevlin does get picked. Oh, the Shattered Bomb combo comes out again, like on Eichenwald, allowing Sidonia to just absolutely decimate.
I think the Shatter was blocked, and then Ant probably had one of those moments, because I think he manually dropped his shield. Either that, or he got...
both sides coming out. Tevlin pops out Barrage, does get safety foam. Bongos and Immortality taken out by Blade and one of Ant Hopkins. Man, further than that, Blade doesn't find anything, and Corgis are able to clean up here. That was a great display of ults on both sides, well timed, but Corgis just had more power behind them. Oh, Ravi got slept there, but back up again because of fire.
Rusha there had the current Genji, you know, feels bad man, killing nothing but inanimate objects, demeching a diva, killing the immortality field, destroying the supercharger, filling up the kill feed with all things that don't fill your elims with joy. But now we're seeing the Nano
comes out, gets 2. Chicky just absolutely wrecking on Reinhardt. Shatter does come through as well. The Corgis are getting picked off one after the other. Ooh. With that, it seems like Nova may just get 1-3. Yep.
50 minutes, or 50 minutes, 47 seconds left on the clock.
47 seconds.
For Dorado, that's quite the time bank.
For sure.
Finishing Dorado at all is, you know.
Oh my god, any time on Dorado, that's something. You made cookies. Now I'm happy my night's been made. What? I said, oh, you made cookies, my night's been made. Oh, yeah. There you go.
Timepiece on Diva and cookies for Dr. Grill. What more can you want?
What more could I want?
What kind of cookies?
Chocolate chip, and they're nice and warm, so they're melting.
That is a powerful combo. The ideal cookie, the ideal temperature.
Just like when they're nice and warm, got some ice cream, have a little bit of chocolate chip cookie a la mode.
Score is
AKA my 4-year-old dessert that I love.
I see nothing wrong with this. If that's wrong, I don't want to be right. Score update is 3-0 to...
3-0 to Nova.
To Nova. It's weird having the Overwatch Oasis stream account ask that question. I had to do a double take for a moment.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay.
Stop the payload.
Kitty, you're here, aren't you? We are seeing a more traditional attack. Well, kinda. Leading out with the Rein Zarya, Acid on his Ashe, and then Tevlin on the attack Torbjorn. With a Moira Ana support line, and then on the other side we're seeing double hit scan and then that same diva, Rhine, you know, aggressive tank.
Oh yeah. Already though, Nova just pushing them back to shot, not letting them move at all. The Potato is gonna be stuck here at this rate.
As long as they disengage quickly and don't let Teplin set up, it's gonna be really hard for Teplin to get a lot of value against double hit scan. That's really gonna poke out the turret, and the Lucio is gonna prevent the shotgun from getting a ton of value.
Oh yeah. Using the 4 pick. I know like there's a lot of people who are probably really happy to see some Torb right now. Robbie's able to get tricky. Only pick. Ooh, Acid Rainbow going down to attack Visor. Rusha's Deadeye being cancelled though by a huge sleep from Eldritch.
This will heal you.
Eldritch has had really just large sleeps all evening.
Oh yeah.
And
honestly,
for that matter, so his
Allow me to repair the payload.
the on the
like,
play
both
tonight.
Moonlight and Eldritch are just absolutely after each other's heads here of who could get more sleeps, who's gonna be the better Ana. Oh, but Eldritch does get the pick on Rusha. That is like a 5v6 right now for the Corgis to push this.
And they have the ult economy to really punish.
They tried to do another Diva Shatter there. It didn't seem to work out like planned, but Eldritch does go down to AJ, who went onto the legs here. Huge fire from Acid Rain. Alright.
Rusha over on the Widow.
Oh, picks up Antokin right away. And a big beat keeps everyone safe during that grab as well, to the side of Nova.
We do see Ant swapping back over to the Diva. Bless you.
We got Dive coming out as well from the side of Corgis.
Good old Torbjorn Dive.
Torb Dive.
He's gonna make him some scuba suits to help dive. That's
Oh, Robbie already getting Rusha, who was up
just
top.
insta deletion.
I'm overloading.
Bob, do something.
Bob comes out for this side. And Mad Dragon 2 pops Coalesce and is able to get Chicky. And Bob is able to get Sidonia out of point, which allows Ravi to just dominate. It seems that Dive is just not agreeing with Nova right now. They're kind of just a little staggered on what to do here.
Nova have.
Did Ravi notice this on Hanamura and decided we're running Dive again? Or Dive, but Dive.
I think it's kind of a similar situation to what we saw with Corgis on their attack, where the Rhine comp just is going to struggle to hold the high ground, and if you can deny it from them, you know, you have a big opportunity.
Oh, poor Dive, working a lot better than I think I could have expected. Oh, we have Bomb coming through, but goes just a little bit too far here. But now the rest of Nova jumping on point. So with Chicky down, this may just be a little hard to keep alive here for Nova.
Rapidy's Winston looking shockingly clean.
It's really shockingly, and it's completely displayed on Hanamura.
That's true.
We got Torb, Capri Sun going on the point. It's summer Torb, I'm gonna call it. It's in the favor of Wade coming through as well. Nova taking it back very quickly, but a Ravi getting the double. And pops bomb doesn't get anyone, but Sidonia is out of point. Ooh, the kill is just going in the favor of Corgis. Now they have 3 minutes to get to the final point. This Torb Dive is just absolutely doing a lot of favors for the Corgis right now.
Indeed, it's a good look, and I'm here for it.
Run more Dive. We don't normally know the Corgis for Dive. This Dive is looking so strong for them.
I do have a little bit of insider insight. It's something that they've been wanting to develop, and it's kind of been in the lab. And it
the
seems
Corgi
like it's...
lab where you got some doggies on the computer making up some new stats.
Absolutely. And it seems like it's finally starting to come together for them. They've run it, you know, on maps here and there to it's questionable success. But here, you know, even with the what would appear to us to be suboptimal torb pick, seems to be quite effective.
Oh, the Corgis were forced back there by Nova, but they do have 2 minutes to push till the end. It's gonna be hard though. This last push on Dorado is absolute torture.
Indeed. This is an opportunity where I think Corgis can rotate this high ground, much like they're doing, and then once they have it, there's the opportunity for both Peblin and Acid to just have really powerful positions.
Got 2 nanos going out on both sides here. Nano Diva, Nano Rhyme. Ooh, Acid Rain getting the pick on Moonlight and Mega. There's no Ana for the side of Nova. Chicky being pressured so much by Ant Hopkins. Yeah, he's gonna go down too. The dive is just absolutely steamrolling here. Sidonia end up out of mech now from Acid Rain. And picked off by our Eldritch.
The cleave.
60 seconds.
Rusha does find the pick on Acid with the pulse bomb.
The turret though, yeah, the turret's gonna take out Rusha though. This turret's gonna great job taking control of this Tracer, which they have chosen for jolly purposes, I'm gonna say. Oh, got Angry Monkey on the point. Yankee. Bomb
No talk.
Doesn't find anyone. Ooh, but someone does get blasted over the wall. Now Teblin's gonna have a long way to get back and touch point. There's only 30 seconds left. They only have one more push. Ooh, but Rusha able to find Teblin. That's a stagger. 20 seconds left. Someone has to touch point. But the Corgi's just now respawning and coming back. Will anyone do so in 16 seconds?
I suspect Ant can almost certainly comfortably touch, and probably Gravity as well. I think we could see a bomb here from Ant. Probably into
Someone
like the falling touch.
Okay, Rowdy does touch. Got bomb coming out from Ant. Oh, AJ getting picked out from it. And with the Free Sun on the point. And Mad Dragon as well. Some of the ultimates on the side of Corgi. They may be able to push it all the way. But Nano Ryan coming out gets Acid Rain and Ant Hopkins out of the mech. Ant Hopkins' Baby Diva getting the kill on the Reinhardt. Baby Diva, no problem.
Ant really channeling my boy Cool Matt.
Around. Good old Cool Matt 69, baby.
This will heal you.
The king of the Diva the Baby Diva pistol.
Baby Diva pistol, man.
I have a Cool Matt jersey around here.
Oh. Man, I'm just sad they made him not put the 69, but his number is 69, I know that. But they were like, no, in your name you can't have 69. And I was just kind of like, bruh, can't ruin my dude's brand like that.
Well, and then they've since, you know, Cool Matt is currently retired and acting as the GM interim of Houston Outlaws or whatever. But they let everybody have numbers in their name. Sparkle's got his 9, Violet has
but it was because specifically it was 69, let's be honest here.
Probably, but they made the other players. There was a Chinese player for Shanghai in Season 1 named 5 King. And his name was like the number 5 King. And I didn't even recognize it because they made him actually spell out F-I-V-E.
Oh. Okay. That's a little
He was
strange.
also really bad, as most of Season 1 Shanghai was. But
yeah, Season 1 Shanghai.
statistically unlikely that level of, you know, wash streak. I think the longest in
best
any
team. Wow, there's no way that's biased coming from Optimus. Wow, no way that's biased. I'm so excited. I wonder what's next. Oh, that's a dead meme right there.
Stop the payload.
It's a classic.
Oh, got dive coming out again from the Corgis as they dive up to the high ground. No high ground for Nova, but Nova's still going strong here. With the coach gun though. Somebody pushed him away there.
Get into position.
The Corgi dive there was like they tried to face check a Reinhardt.
Yeah, but Ravi is able to get AJ out of the fight here. Tricky does get too aggressive and goes down for it as well. But a huge anti from Lula and Mega does get get Hopkins out of the bed side. Okay. And Nova is just getting pushed back.
Indeed. I think that they're slow playing this probably far too much. They are going to have a 5-man recontest, which is now a 4 and a 3-man recontest. And this is almost certainly a lost point for them. And sending the nano in on Tricky, the rare ult misstep. Although Uravity probably overutilizing his ult on Winston as well, so it might balance out.
Yeah, both sides are looking good at ults here though. Especially because soon there's going to be a Demon Bomb on the side of Corgi, soon they're going to have Death Blossom.
This will restore you.
They're looking really well, both sides are. But the ults on Nova are looking just a little stronger. We'll have to see.
Tyre is real scary in this situation. Because you don't have like
lower levels like this. Here comes Tyre. Bomb coming out. Ooh, Eldritch coming down to Tyre, but AJ does go down to Bomb. Legends coming out. Mad Dragon being killed by Moonlight and Mega. And a Rabbit and Rucha. Picks going back and forth. Bomb going through. Doesn't seem to find anyone beside of Nova. Rabbit's still alive. A lot of Ant. As Baby Diva. Oh, but Rabbit does go down. And as Ant tries to stall, it doesn't work. And Nova will stop the point here.
For the 1-minute OT push.
Score.
Whew. I mean, that's not bad.
Not bad.
I think you can be proud of that.
I can agree. I think that's definitely something to be like, okay, we can do this. You know, we can hold this if we just focus. Definitely not like out of the question. That's for sure.
Ready for battle.
It seems no more dive on the side of the Corgis. We're just going to go a traditional brawl here.
On first point,
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
Their first point style, where they basically gave it up until it got underneath this first bridge and then hard held here, I'm kind of here for it. And with Grav, you have that finality. You know, you land a Grav and you could probably end the overtime push at the very least. I can see the value.
5, 4,
this is a very sustainy, like, anti-dive comp coming out of Nova.
Nova is expecting a dive, but that's not what they're going to hit here.
Mounting power to forward shield.
Will we see swaps come out of there? It doesn't look like it. And I don't necessarily think they need to. And as the cart approaches this hallway, this underpass, this is really Corey's opportunity to turn this into a hold with some time.
People from Nova being dangerously low here. As the damage being pushed out by Corey too much.
So safety foam really.
Oh, Acid Rain with a little triple count the mech.
This is my
allowing the Corgis to push up here and drill off a little bit of time.
Indeed, they're under a minute, and are making swaps to support their ult economy. That Brig I was a little suspect about, and indeed we see it swapped over to the Moira.
The thing about Brig is, like, after not having armor, health packs now, it's kind of rude. Oh, she can get a little too speedy. Getting picked off by Eldritch because of it.
Absolutely.
Now there's no maintain to the side of Nova, and with 20 seconds left, they gotta push. They're getting to overtime quickly.
We see 5 full ultimates on the side of Corgi Court.
Already looking very strong. Oh, grab even by third ult. I don't get it. And I think this whole series. Oh, AJ moved off by a turret. And Ravi is able to get safety foam out of the fight, but Nano Ryan absolutely. Ooh, an Eldritch a little too aggressive.
That actually is a full reset. The Corgis used all 5 of their ultimates there.
Nope, it seems like Ant's going to stall here. As the rest of the Corgis jump on and get that. There are no ultimates for Corgis, all of them have been used. But Arabi is able to get Rusha. And with Chicken going low, Acid Rain able to pick him off as well. And no one touches point! The Corgis will take map 4.
That was quite the unlikely recontest, I would argue, but they clutched it out.
Of the game.
Yeah, I think we already know who's gonna get our MVPs.
I mean, I don't know.
Really?
Well,
I'm going with Moonlight for support,
right?
Rusha for DPS, and then Timepiece for tank is what I was thinking.
I would say those are the 2 picks from Nova. I'm 100% on. But I was actually trying to figure out where or what position Nova wasn't going to get MVP for, because I felt like there was a solid case for all of them. Psy's tank play,
J-Rod and Psy did so great for tank.
Indeed.
So of course, we could always give DPS to Acid Rain as well, who did really well in the Corgis many times throughout every map he was on. I think he was on every map, I could be wrong.
He did, but Rusha and AJ just... Oh.
As a DPS duo. We could do an honorable mention too if we really wanted to.
We could. You know, honestly, I'm pretty okay with your proposition there. In terms of MVP lineup.
Yeah, I thought about it, and I just felt like Time did a lot of work on the maps that she was in. She did a great job contesting that far. I don't know if it's just me seeing that, but like that's just how I felt. And then Rusha and Moonlight are just obvious picks, in my opinion. Both of them just carried Nova a little bit. Not really, the team in general did amazing. But,
I would agree.
On their own, they just did so well. I can't, look over that.
The only... Could you make an argument? Some people are saying
Sidomia, Acid Rain, and Moon.
Yeah, that's a valid argument.
It's a valid argument.
I think you could...
as well did super good on tank as well.
You could do it. You could probably... convince me for like a Uravity Rusha Moonlight as well.
Oh god, everyone did so good. It's so hard to choose.
I don't know for sure. This is
I still think Rusha for DPS, because those 4K tires, like every push that Corgis try to have on Hanamura would just shut down completely by those tires.
No, I can agree with that. I can 100%.
And even on, I think they were playing Genji, right? They had really big blades. And of course, I may be a little biased, but I seeing timepiece on Zarya and staying high charge for so long.
Zarya was honestly a welcome shock. Loved it. High charge for so long.
So I agree with the first time, Rusha, and Moonlight.
Okay, so that's kind of what I wanted to go with, if that's okay.
Yeah, let's go with that. I'm here for it.
All right. I'll put that into match chat then.
So that ends our game for today with Nova getting the win with a 3-1, and our MVPs being Timepiece, Rusha, and Moonlight. I think our next game is not until Friday? Tomorrow, I believe? Friday, yes. Tomorrow is Friday, right? Yeah, it is. So, we'll see you guys then, and it's been...
Have a good evening, everyone.
Have a great night.